Good morning and welcome to Morning Coach. Today, I am so glad you're with us. Hey, it's JB, and this is episode 4,700. I always get excited when it rolls another 100, right? So we're 4,700. What that means is we've got just a few more 100, 300 more, and we are going to break 5,000 episodes. And before we get started, thank you for being a part of this, because I would never be able to do 4,700 episodes if it wasn't for you. No matter if you just started yesterday or if you've been with me the whole time, thank you for being a part of this. It's about the energy, and your energy is a part of what we're doing, okay? It's so awesome. So this week, we've got a big week planned. As always, I'm excited to be a part of your life and the things that we're doing. And we're going to be rocking because you know what? It's the 22nd. And just a sidebar, for those of you that are new, I always get excited on the 22nd. So there's a lot going on. Not only for episode 4,700, but it's the 22nd, which is my lucky number. The 22nd day is always my lucky day. It's a Monday, which is a fresh start of the week. So there is a lot of really cool things happening. And just to go along with that, we're going to do a really cool topic this week. We're going to talk about becoming more self-confident. I'm really excited about today's topic, and I love it. And it's something that we can all do, get a little more self-confident. Again, not egoic. We talked a little bit about that last week, but really getting this self-confidence at a level that lets us build our belief. And we're going to get into that today. Then tomorrow, we've got a new book. We're going to finish our Living Untethered, which has been just an amazing journey along the way, right? And Singer's work has been awesome, and we're going to go over which I think is one of the best chapters, this final chapter, which is great. But we're going to move into competing against luck, and you can go get the information on that. It's going to be in the Compass, and if you go onto morningcoach.com Compass and you click the book study, you can get the information. And we're doing Competing Against Luck, more of a business book, but it's the story of innovation and customer choice, deep one. My coach gave it to me, and I want to share it with you. It's a really good book. Wednesday, then we got Slowing Down to Speed Up. What does that mean? You'll find out Wednesday. Good one. Thursday, Ask JB. I answer your questions that you send to me. Friday, we got Dealing with Massive Inflation and Financial Unrest. We're dealing with that, a little bit of that in the world today, so I'm going to help you out with some ideas. Saturday, of course, our Systems Day, more self-confidence system tips. And then Sunday, our spiritual day, our championship day for our professional golfers. But it is going to be can you or can't you? So we got a big week packed with a lot of different topics this week that are going to help you progress and really get some good energy, all based around this idea of self-confidence. And again, you've heard me say my patented quote that a lot of people say is that thoughts are things, belief makes them so, and actions solidify beliefs. And that really comes from the foundational stuff that we started teaching in episode 1. Way back when The Secret came out, even before that, a couple years before it, it made the law of attraction really popular. But we were really on that before that. And part of the issue we had with all of the law of attraction is understanding that we need action. Because the law of attraction, the last word's action, and that's what I always say, that thoughts are saying things, belief make them so, but actions solidify the belief. And what is missing for a lot of people is the belief, right? They just don't believe. They don't have the confidence in doing the things that they want to do. And what happens is when they go out and try to do something and it doesn't work, then their subconscious just sucks in that negativity and goes, you see, I told you so. I told you couldn't do it. Right? And then that self-confidence just takes a hit. And eventually you just kind of live kind of a life of apathy, which is one of my biggest enemies. An apathetic life where you just give up and you just, I always talk about when I grew up, there was a commercial for Dunkin' Donuts where the guy would get up and it'd be like, time to make the donuts, right? And he would just go to work and he was living an apathetic life. There was no joy. There was no energy there. And we want to live a life of energy, right? And that's why we're here. That's why we're doing this work that we do day in and day out. And so we're going to work on building self-confidence and really focused in on that. And we're going to be kicking butt this week doing that, because what self-confidence does is it really brings us to the belief. And the other thing that it does is it helps us really get over what is a really big phenomenon in the world today, and that is imposter syndrome. And imposter syndrome is when you go out there and you're trying to do something, be an expert or build a business or, grow in your career, and you just don't feel like you're worthy. And we want to overcome that because imposter syndrome holds so many people back. And eventually what people don't do is do anything, right? Nobody likes failure. Nobody likes to get the word no told to them. And the problem with those two things is that you freeze and you don't take action. And again, thoughts are things, belief makes so actions solidify the belief. So without action, without moving forward, then you're stuck in your mind and you never move forward and you just kind of, get apathetic and you don't really do anything and you think you're doing something, but then you get busy and you don't accomplish much. And a lot of that comes from fear and it comes from imposter syndrome. And again, nobody wants to fail. Nobody wants to be told no. I mean, just think back to when you were younger and you went to ask that person for the date that was sitting there and they said no. That's like one of the worst experiences ever, that rejection that you feel, right? And we don't want to feel that. So subconsciously we pull away from anything. And we have these reminders or samskaras that we learned about in Living Untethered that continually flow up and are there from the past. And so maybe you had some rejection in the past. Maybe you had a girl or a boy that you really were attracted to and you went to them and it didn't work and you just buried that deep inside, right? And so that comes out when you go to start a business and you get imposter syndrome. So we're going to work on self-confidence and really build this up and help you develop it so that you can build the belief to go out and do the things you need to do to live that dynamic life, whatever that is for you. So the first thing we want to talk about is self-talk. And this is a reoccurring theme here on Morning Coach. Almost every day, it seems like we talk about self-talk, but it's so important because the discussions that you have with yourself are so critical. It's really critical on what you're saying to yourself. Are you a coach or you're an enemy? And if you're anything like me, you're more of an enemy to yourself than a coach. And so understanding that and having the awareness of what you're saying to yourself is going to help you overcome it. For me, I look at the golf course and I use that as an example because it's really close to life. And I always say golfing is like living an entire life in 4 hours because you have these ultimate joys, you have these ultimate lows. It's just all over the place with the emotions. And you can really learn a lot about yourself in the way that you talk to yourself. So for me personally, when I do something good, I don't really congratulate myself. But when I do something bad, man, I beat the hell out of myself. You suck. What's your problem? I mean, that's what's going on in my brain. I teach this stuff, right? So I know I shouldn't be doing it. I know that's not doing any good to the situation, but that's what I do. And so that's why the internal work, the mental work that we do is so important. Or what we're doing tomorrow in Living Untethered as we finish the book is to let go and surrender to the experience of life, which is so powerful and so deep. But that self-talk is so important. The next thing we need to do is focus on achievements. And like I said, you might have got rejected when you were younger, like you're 16 and you asked that girl out or she didn't kiss you or that boy didn't kiss you or didn't go with you. And all of a sudden that reoccurring pattern comes up, that samskara, right? And we don't focus on the achievements. We don't focus on the graduation of high school and when you did meet that significant other and you got married and all the good things that have occurred in your life. We tend to focus on the negative. That's what we do as human beings. So to overcome that negative, we need to start focusing on achievements. If you look on in your planner, if you're using the planner, and many people use different systems, and that's what we built Get It Done Now, is to be able to use with different systems. But if you are using the planner, there is a section to write down your wins. And what we're trying to do is write down the wins for the day. And why we are doing that? Because when we write down the wins, okay, and the wins come in, basically at the end of the week, we are going to review the wins. And why are we doing that? Because we need to overcome the negative things that are occurring in life. Life is a lot about perception. It's about the way that you're looking at it. Reality is perception, Perception is reality. And when we understand that, what you're perceiving, what you think is going on is what happens in life, right? And that's the perception. Perception is reality. And so we've got to be able to be aware of how you're looking at things. And then when you start seeing the achievements and starting to seeing more of them coming, that changes your self-confidence in the way that you're able to manifest things in your life. Okay? The third thing, stop focusing on external validation. Again, this is more of a current topic that is coming up more and more on Morning Coach than I've ever really taught this because we're seeing it more and more in the world today. With social media and the things that have come out in the last 16, 17 years that I've been doing this, people are striving for external validation. Michael Singer in his book talks about what do you do when you're drowning? Things are not good inside, right? Well, if you're in the water, let's talk about that drowning. You're in the water. What are you doing? You're looking for something to hold on to. And as soon as you find that board, what do? You hold on for dear life. Well, what do we do if things are not good inside? We look for something to hold on to. And the problem is if we're putting all our faith in that thing that we're holding on to, that external validation, that can just, if you let go of it, you can go back to drowning, or even worse, you can drown, right? And so many people do that with other people and things like cars and houses and other material things. And why are they doing that? Because they're not doing the work on the inside that needs to be done, and they're looking for the external validation, and you need to let go of that, okay? So stop looking for external validation. Don't compare yourself to others. Again, I think this is becoming more prevalent in social media because there's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's TikTok, there's all these things, and people are watching other people's stuff and going, gosh, they got a better life than me. You don't know what reality is, and your experience is totally different than anybody else's. You're a spiritual being having a material experience on this plane, and you got to realize that you are having a different experience than anybody else. So by comparing yourself to anybody else, you're doing more damage than good. And these things I'm talking about, self-talk, not focusing on achievements, looking for external validation, all these things, right? All these things are negative. They're not helping you, not comparing to yourself. They are not serving the greater good in your life. And that's what we need to do. We need the greater good to start occurring in your life. So what are some other things we can do? Well, number 5 is to live in wonder. And this is a big one. Again, these are newer things that I've been teaching that have really changed my life. And to understand that the exact moment in time that is occurring right now, it took billions of activities and actions for that to happen. And having that wonder to be able to walk around life and realize that you are a miracle is such a beautiful place to live. And the expression of life that is occurring as you're living it is a beautiful thing. That's what is awesome. And to be more childlike, think about a child that's, doing things for the first time. They're so enamored with life. They just want to discover and just enjoy it. They don't have all the psychosis and neurosis that we do of conditioning over years and years and years. So finding that wonder, that energy of living life as a child is such a beautiful way to live life, and you can be more childlike. I think that's why people, when they have children and they can buy toys and they can be a little more childlike and go into the toy stores and shop for toys, they feel that rekindling of youth. And we don't want to chase our youth, because I think aging is a beautiful thing, and I wish our society would see it like that. It tends to view youth more than aging, but personally, I think we could shift that to realize that those wrinkles and those scars that you have are actually very beautiful, because it's the experiences that you have. But we don't want to try to grab the youth. We just want to be more youthful. Does that make sense? So we don't need to try to be young. What we need to do is grab the youthful exuberance and energy, and that will keep you young. Okay. Another really important part, and again, these are reoccurring, consistent teachings that are going to continue to come up here at Morning Coach, because what is the father or the mother of learning? Repetition. You need to hear it again and again and again, and you need to hear it 100 different ways, because one day it eventually just works. One day it just clicks. It's like, okay, I see what you're saying there. So we need to stop focusing on the results and focus on the action. If you just take it day by day and stop focusing on the results will occur. But everybody gets stuck in this results kind of thing. And I get it. I'm the same way. I get results oriented too. And it's not about the results so much about the focus on the day-to-day activities you're going to do. Remember, thoughts are things, belief make them so, actions solidify belief. So what actions or activities are you doing to live the dream life? That's key. And then as we keep rolling, the 7th thing is to get around the right people. I can't tell you how important this is. You'll hear me say this. The general population is exhausting. They're energy vampires, and they will take your energy. It's exhausting. So you got to make sure you're getting around people that are getting this type of message, that are listening to these type of words, and an understanding that they're working on themselves to break free. They're trying to do the living untethered that we're going to talk about tomorrow, and really let go and surrender. They're trying to live that joyful life, that energetic life. They're focused on really working on themselves. That's who you want to be around. And if it's tough, and believe me, it's tough, then you got to find that circle on the internet. You got to find those spaces that you can go so that you can find that love and that peace. Look, I go out, and I'm up here in Indiana right now, and it's very challenging to find people that have that same consciousness that I have. And I'm not saying I'm spiritual or enlightened. Leave that to the masters. What I'm saying is it's challenging to find somebody on the same vibrational path. And so we've got to continue to work to connect and help each other. And that's why I say community is so important, because that connection can save you and help you when you're dealing with a bout of imposter syndrome or having issues. So what do we need to do today as we go out there and enjoy the 22nd? Well, number one is self-talk. Be aware of it. That's really key. Number two, focus on achievement. Start looking for those things that you do well and the things that you win and the things that happen and write them down. Stop looking for external validation. You're going to hear me screaming about this from the mountaintop. Don't compare yourself to others. There's no reason to do that. Your experience is different than anyone else's. Live in wonder. Be more childlike. It's critical that you do that. Stop focusing on the results. Focus on action. Start becoming an action person and get around the right people. Like here at Morning Coach, plug into this system every morning. I know you can't listen every morning. There's 46 or 4,700 episodes. I mean, you can't be here every day, but plug in as much as you can because this energy is what's going to get you through on those days that you really need it. The days that you don't need it, you don't need it. But the days that you really are focused in on it, that's when you need it, okay? And you never know when you're going to hear that one thing that changes everything. And that's my job. And that's why I continue to go over certain topics again and again and again, because you're going to hear it a certain way and it's going to change your life. All right, I love you. Get out there and have a great 22nd. Tomorrow, we are back into the book study. We're going to finish Living Untethered. New book coming, Competing Against Luck. And then we got a great week planned. So let's do it to it. And I will see you in morningcoach.com. Go make it happen. And I love you so much.